Welcome to Otakus Geeks, The Hour. Join Justin, Nadia, Sean, Jerrell, and guest panelists as they discuss the latest news, give reviews, and conduct interviews in all things entertainment. Without further ado, let's start the show.
And we're back with another episode of The Hour. This is episode 11. Gotta catch them all. As we alluded to the previous week, this episode is all Pokemon. So my Poke fans out there, this one's for you. We got Jerrell here. What's up, Jerrell?
What it is?
We got Ashley here. How you doing?
Hey, Luke, doing good.
Yeah, and so and last week we played Pokemon. We went back and did last week. We had a very long. This was the longest I played Pokemon. I think we clocked in about
3 hours.
It felt like 2-3 hours in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the longest I played Scarlet, because I usually play Scarlet in breaks, but this was just a bunch of
long.
trading. And me and Des literally went a half an hour back and forth with this match. But you know, that actually inspired me, because I got the idea from Jerrell's like, yo, we should just do it. Jerrell's like, yo, we should just do a Poke Hour type of episode, and a lot to talk about. So first segment we're gonna do is gotta catch them all. And who is everyone's favorite Pokemon? I know that's like choosing
one as like your partner, or is it just like your whole
favorite? I mean,
team?
we can do it in two ways. We can do who you usually will go to for your game, but then again, that's based off the game or what's available. But who's your all-time favorite Pokemon? And I guess you can put like your top three if you want. If you have more than one. Me, if you know me, I'm like the original six. Well, not original six, but I'm always based off my Pokemon choices based off of Ash Ketchum Gen 1. I'm a Gen 1 purist. Okay. I consider myself a Gen 1 trainer, and as the games have recently been showing me, is that Gen 1, you better adapt, you better get with the times, because your Gen 1s are not going to be available as much as these new Pokemon over here. So,
well, I mean, what they've done with the Generation 1s, like, they've found new ways to make them interesting. Because if you honestly go back and look at the original 150, a lot of them really aren't that good, but there are a lot of them now where they can Mega Evolve. Like Pidgeot can Mega Evolve, like Beedrill can Mega Evolve, like the starters can Mega Evolve. But then also now they have regional variants where, and this makes perfect sense. There are certain Pokemon, like the Galar region, for instance. Farfetch'd is, there's a Kanto Farfetch and there's a Galarian Farfetch. Because it's in a different region, just like Australia, like koala bears and stuff. So Kanto Farfetches, they're smaller, they have like that light brown color. They carry like that little tiny stick with them. Galarian Farfetches,
it's a knight.
They're darker brown. They're more buff, like they look like football players, and the stick that they carry around is huge. But the difference is Galarian Farfetches evolve into an all-white night bird Pokemon called Sirfetch'd. Ash actually caught a Sirfetch, because he caught the Farfetch and then it evolved into Sirfetch. But then I was even telling my brother, I was like, you know what? He actually caught if you think about it, he caught a Generation 1 Pokemon. Yeah. Like it's still a Farfetch'd. This one's just
it's funny. I just caught a Farfetch last week, and I was like, I'm not gonna use you. Like, I'm doing like what Des does. Like, sometimes Des is always like, he never plays a Pokemon game without literally getting Pokédex 100% complete. I'm thinking about doing that, but then I'm like, that's a lot of time. Yeah, that's a lot of time. That's a lot of hunting. But to answer the question, for me, my favorite Pokemon of all time will always be Charizard. First of all, I love the design, and I love the particular Ash's Charizard when we first met him in Generation 1. Just spoiler alert, folks. I'm gonna be doing a lot of Gen 1 talk because that's my era.
That's not a
Pokemon,
spoiler.
okay.
Yeah, right.
But Jerrell and Ashley are way modern than me, so I will be remembering about the good old days, the season 1 days.
The good old days are here.
Yes, because he's finally a master at the.
Yeah,
We'll go deep into that, but for me, I always liked Charizard. I love the bad boy attitude that he had. And just playing with him, for me, I usually use mostly, which to my detriment, because now I'm always the type of trainer that tries to do more special attacks. But as I'm really starting to play more deeply in more of the competition sense, I'm really taking more consciously of how I'm actually approaching my battles, actually making sure my defense is up, making sure I had the right type of Pokemon. So now I'm not more of just like I'm slowly becoming less. I need all Gen 1 Pokemon, more of like what Pokemon can get me this W. As of my battle last week with Dez, what Pokemon can get me this W? But I'm gonna pass it to either Jerrell or Ash. You can tell who is your favorite Pokemon.
Ladies first.
Go
ahead. That's like asking what was your favorite time breathing.
People ask that question.
No, I was just being facetious.
That could be like a real serial killer question.
Like, which day did you breathe the best?
I don't. So okay, well, I'm kind of biased. So I have Pokemon plushes around me, which I'll show in just a second. But so like Lucario is probably number one. I love that dude. He's one of my favorites. I don't. So I'm weird in a way. I have like. It is also weird saying like I have types, but I'm generally I generally go for like dog-like Pokemon, like Lucario, ironically. But also like I love like the legendaries like Suicune and Raikou and Entei. Right now the ones I use the most Lucario, definitely the most. I love Charizard. Gosh, so many. Squirtle is also up there. I love Torchic. I love that whole evolution line.
She's more Gen 1 people. Look at that. Like she's naming off them Gen 1.
Torchic was Gen 2.
She's 1 and 2. She's at least she's like in the early years.
Torchic was Gen 3. That was
3.
Yeah, but she's in the early years still.
That era.
Anyway, if I want to go newer, well, I love Oshawott. Love Oshawott. And Piplup. I love penguins and otters. Apparently. I'm trying to think of Bulbasaur. Eevee. So like
but which one?
That's the problem. I love all evolutions, but I think I like Glaceon a little bit more. But if I had to choose, but also too, if I had to choose a second one, I would just go with the plain Eevee because it can evolve into many different forms. I'm just waiting for new forms of Eevee. Because not like the evolutions that we have are great, but now because Pokemon is continuing growing and going into different regions, I feel like we should have different variants on Eevee now.
Yeah, there should be more.
Especially because now the new types.
Well, we got the fairy type.
Yes,
and the fairy type that was the last type introduced, was the fairy type. So I'm like, can we get a dragon Eevee? Like, I feel like
that's something that needs to happen.
Like a steel Eevee is like a no-brainer. It's basically just Eevee covered in steel. So like that's not hard. Like some of them's not hard to do.
Like we don't have a ghost one. I think like that. Like seeing like I've also been not obsessed with, but I've been gaining interest with seeing Fakemon and like how people like draw different types of Pokemon that could be in different regions or making up like their own regions. Like I've seen one where people made Pokemon for Egypt, made one for Greece, made one for Australia even.
Nice.
So I love seeing those, and I love seeing like what type they make it, like the whole, they even make like a whole, you know, Pokedex for it and everything. So like, but I love Eevee. Like if I could have, if I could get a tattoo, if I wasn't too scared of needles and pain, I would probably get an Eevee, to be honest. Just because of that, I don't think I could stand getting a whole Lucario.
Oh, good God.
Maybe just the head, maybe just the face, but even then, probably not. But yeah, no, wait, I'll show you guys real quick of something. So a teacher at my school, real quick, she made because there was one day we were doing testing, so I was in a different classroom, and she made like paper mache figures. So I saw like an Isabel in her classroom. I saw like these other different things. And so I emailed her and I said, I was in your room and I noticed all these things. I'm like, how did you make them? Would it be possible if I had one? She's like, yeah, just let me know what type you want. And I'm like, could you make a Suicune for me? And she's like, yeah, I can make you a Suicune. So I'll show you that real quick.
Oh, it's cool she knew what it was.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because when I looked around, I saw like different types of like video games, merch and stuff. I was like, I know you.
And while Ash is doing that, I'll also say Charizard, but I definitely gotta say Mewtwo, which I finally got last week. So it's nice to have my second. It just reminds me of Frieza. I don't know why. I think a lot of people make that comparison. Like if Frieza was a Pokemon, it will definitely be Mewtwo. But
I got a question for you, Mr. Gen 1.
Yes.
So, like you said, so you're dedicated to Generation 1 Pokemon.
Yes.
And Charizard's your favorite.
Yes.
You do know, and you also said that you're looking into being more competitive.
Yes.
You do know Charizard has 2 different Mega Evolutions.
Yeah. But I usually try not to use any. But here's
the thing. You can get away with Mega Evolution and still hold on to your precious G1 because it's still Charizard. The only question is, do you want the black one or do you want the red one? Because the red one is a fire and flying type, and the black one is a fire and dragon type. So, but it's still Charizard. One's just black and the other
if you're gonna offer, then I will take the black.
You need a Mega Stone. Because you can Mega Evolve any Charizard you want. You just have to have the stones with it. That's what I'm saying. Like once they make Mega Evolution available, like in one of these games, it's a wrap.
Let's just hope. Like, I mean, because Scarlet is actually one of the first Pokemon games I've seen that had like such a, not saying like a backlash, but there was a lot of pissed off fan base with this entry here. A lot of people were like, but I think you
get that with almost every Pokemon entry, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, this one just seemed like a lot of people were just like, you know what? Nope, I'm not doing it. Screw this. I'm like, it wasn't. And then when I like, everybody's like, oh, it's glitchy. I honestly, to this day, I did not experience any game breaking bugs. Nothing to me go like, oh my god, my data got erased. Like I didn't see anything for me. I mean, I probably saw one glitch that was a little weird, like one of the NPCs was just walking around spinning in a circle. I was just like, you know, they need to patch that up. But for me, I didn't see, like, maybe because I'm playing on a Switch Lite and it's always constantly in handheld mode. So the things that people see on a console, like for me, I can't see myself playing Pokemon on the big screen. I don't know why. Maybe because it's the Game Boy era. I'm so used to handheld with this thing. So for me, I'm always gonna play regardless handheld mode.
The only glitch that I ran into, and I don't even know if this is a glitch, when I was in the Snow City, like the highest point in the Snow City.
Yeah.
I literally got on my ride Pokemon and I legitimately just jumped to the next town. like I avoided all the BS. Like I avoided the trainers, the random Pokemon. I literally just jumped off of a cliff and just glided to the next town. And I sat here, I was like, I don't think I was supposed to be able to do that. They
It's
literally
fine.
just let me just skip a whole section of walking and just went to the I literally crash landed in the next town.
That's
Wow.
hilarious.
And to this day, I don't know if that was a glitch or not.
That probably was.
When your ride Pokemon has all of its attributes, like climbing on the walls and the flying and the super, they do honestly let you like OD and they let you just like climb up mountains. You can jump off mountains. You can fly through the thing. So I was like, maybe it wasn't a glitch, but I'm not used to that.
Right.
But Ashley had something to show us. Oh,
Here it is.
Oh damn!
wow, nice.
Yeah,
Well, your little background
my
thing.
Damn, she
background
made
is
that?
terrible. Yeah, she made it literally out of like paper. Like it's all
Damn.
made of paper.
Yeah, please don't put that back in the glass in the glass case you pulled it from immediately. No, that's nice.
Yeah, it's like she made it into like a stand. So like
Yeah.
when you put it somewhere, it's just like ooh,
That woman
it's
has
so
talent.
pretty. It is very yes, she's very, very talented. I was like, oh my
She can
goodness,
sell those at Comic-Con.
Seriously,
right?
talented.
And it's literally like it's all like she printed out all of the stuff and then she just paper origamied everything.
But Mr. Jerrell, you have yet to reveal your Pokemon.
Nah, that's a loaded question. Because I mean, just for you specifically, my favorite Gen 1 was Squirtle.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, like Squirtle was my favorite Gen 1.
Squirtle Squad.
Yeah. my favorite my favorite Pokemon, like my favorite Pokemon, it's probably a tie between Medicham and Greninja, which as we know, evolves into Ash Greninja, and Medicham actually evolves into Mega Medicham. So I'll say like Greninja and Medicham are my two favorite Pokemon, but my favorite legendary, because that's a whole different category.
Yeah.
Like there's your favorite Pokemon, then there's your favorite legendary. My favorite legendary Pokemon is Lugia.
Oh yeah.
The great guardian.
The great guardian, definitely.
Like, Lugia is my favorite legendary Pokemon. Arceus is like a hard second, because that's Pokemon Jesus.
Yes.
But every game is every time I buy a Pokemon game, I always buy both versions. Because I'm one of those people that I can't live without having all the starters, and I don't like the fact that one game offers something the other one doesn't. So I need both legendaries. Like I'm a legendary collector.
It is a brilliant strategy, though.
Yeah, so I always buy both games. I buy both games. I play one in the morning, one at night, and but for some reason, whenever I choose a starter, I always pick the fire type in one game and the water type in another. I've never chosen the grass type. Even in the even in the Alolan region, had a fire cat that evolved into like a fire tiger. It had what was it, a seal? It had like that water type seal thing with the voice, and then it had Decidueye. Decidueye, it was a grass owl, but basically Decidueye was the Green Arrow.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, it was the Green, and I'm a huge Green Arrow fan. Like Arrow's my ish. That's my favorite superhero TV show. Like Stephen Amell is the superhero television goat. As much as I love Arrow, and as much as I thought Decidueye was cool, there was just something in me that could not choose the grass type. Like I still took the water, I still took the fire type, and then I asked my brother to trade me the grass type.
Honestly, this was like the first time with Scarlet I chose a grass type. I'm usually fire or water.
Yeah, I've never in my life taken a grass type.
And that's only because I like the design of this particular grass type. I was just like, I'm gonna go with you, because the other ones, it was not aesthetically appealing to me. I was like, you are ugly. I am not walking around with you. And then I looked at the evolved forms. I was like, okay, I could get you down a line. I mean, the duck was pretty cool. That fire one, I was just like, that croc, I was like, nah, no, absolutely not. But then there was the cat. I was like, I'm gonna take you. I'm gonna name you Kit. And I believe it or not, it's the
Best name for that.
Well, it's like attached to the hip with me. I still use her. And like even with you gifted me with those legendary Pokemon last week, it was just something I'm still using. I'm like, I'm still training with you. You're still gonna get to level 100. The Flower Seed attack, I love that attack so much.
I love that too.
It does damage. And this is like the first time I was like, yeah, I've been sleeping on grass type Pokemon. I mean, even though I did use Bulbasaur, but even when I had the Bulbasaur back in the other games, I didn't use them as much as I did like the Squirtles and the Charmanders and the Pikachus and the other and the Psychics and the Ghost type Pokemon. Grass has always been on the bottom of the barrel for me.
Yeah,
honestly, I don't know why.
The grass designs like historically haven't always been the best.
Mm-mm.
And even if they're okay, not when you're standing next to the other two.
Yeah.
I will say though, in this particular game, the Paldea region, because this season of Pokemon is every season of Pokemon mimics like real life. This season it's Mexico. He's basically in Mexico. Like let's not pretend he's not in Mexico. But the water type Quaxley, I mean, he's a little sassy. Like the fight, I was just like, but he started off cool. Because I was like, oh, it's a nice little duck. Then when he does the second evolution, it's like, oh, he's like a butler, like, how do you do it? Then when he evolved, I was like, what the hell?
He's all the rings. It's like a flamingo dancer.
Yeah, like, what's with the chingalings and the rings and everything? And the final evolution for the cat, I was like, well, that actually looked cool.
Yeah, it looked like it has like this mask type of.
It's a magician.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm feeling that. But
yeah, that's the second best grass starter. Because Decidueye is the best grass starter. Like he literally has a move where he shoots arrows at you.
But what type do you? I mean, we're just speaking of types. What types do you usually train or breed with? Or like for me, obviously, I usually just do fire. Like my top 3, I usually do. Like I literally never. I captured them, but I never used a rock Pokemon to this day. I don't know why. I've never really used a rock Pokemon. Never used a Diglett, but I got one. I never used a Diglett, but I got one. Ditto, I never actually battled with. I just literally used Ditto to breed. So like there's certain Pokemon that I don't know why I don't use them. And I think probably mainly for me is because of my Gen 1 like the programming of the old school ways of Pokemon. Like keep in mind, like audience, you gotta remember, grew up meeting Jerrell too. Ashley, I think you were there during the 150.
I was
like
young, my age. I was born when Pokemon came out.
Yeah. So me and Jerrell grew up with the 150. Back in there's 150 and more to see. Yeah, that song. We grew up with that. So now I'm like, we're still in it. We're still playing these games and watching the shows, and I'm just like, holy shit! So many different types now. I'm stuck in my ways of these type of types. I do psychic, ghost, fire, water, electric, rock. I don't use rock. Fighting, I'm getting used to doing fighting. But but back to everybody else. What types do you find yourselves using a lot?
Everything.
Oh, that's easy for you.
Yeah, I can't really pinpoint. For me, it seems like what's aesthetically pleasing to me. I don't really care about the typing unless like I go into battle and then I have to actively think, okay, what Pokemon do I need to bring in order to beat the trainer? But other than that, I don't really care. Whatever is pleasing to the eye of the beholder for me. So that's why, like, and I guess this is a question on top of a question, but like, if you were a gym leader, what typing would you have? I would just be like, it would just be the eclectic gym leader. Like, I would just have every single type of typing. It will be like a Russian roulette. My whole thing would be like a Russian roulette type of trial.
So you basically like spin the wheel.
Yeah,
go to your
you have
gym,
no idea.
Spin the wheel, and whatever type that is, that's who you facing.
And if there's 2 games, then it's like 2 different. Like you'll get a different outcome. So like each trainer will have a different out. So like, oh no, it will be like this. So like however they can do it game wise, whoever you have in your party at that time when you're coming into the gym, I will already have that Pokemon that counteracted in my party. So it'll be different. So if you lose that time, it'll regenerate again, and mine will regenerate again. And you're like, wait a second, it's not the same Pokemon. That's how I feel mine would be. Now, is that cheating? Yes.
Oh, no.
Is that like is that like in Metal Gear Solid where I think it's called Mantis, where you have to fight and like it literally the boss literally reads your moves and like says it out loud to you, like breaking the fourth wall. Is it going to be like that? Yes. So yeah, I don't really have like a type. I'm like, I love all of them.
We will not be going to Ashley's gym. We're really never getting a badge. So she would be like the last gym you go to.
I'll be the last Elite Four person. Like that will be it. Like if you pass me, then you're definitely the champion.
Well, it's funny you say it though, because like in the Emerald version, they had in like Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, they had secret bases.
Yeah.
And when you made your secret base, whatever 6 Pokemon you had in your party, that would be the 6 that people would challenge. Like if you connect with your friends and everything, and one of your friends goes to your secret base, your last 6 Pokemon, that's the team that they would have to fight. So we all purposely just pick 6 legendaries, so that way when one of our boys runs into the gym, it's like, we got you, like legendary battle. I actually missed that because you used to level up quickly in that game.
Yeah.
Those were the days.
But now we just level up with
candy,
what raids and XP candies. It makes things much easier though. I'm not gonna lie. The candies work.
Yeah, they do work.
But
I mean, I'm happy because like the time it takes to get to level 100, like that shit was
yeah. Especially when you get the rare candies. So like if you got like 50 rare candies, you like, here's 50 to one Pokemon. Like, look, you're at level 50. Like you at 100 now. Good. But we'll transition. We'll come back to the games in a bit. Because Jerrell, you alluded to something last week, and you asked me and Ashley for watching it. Unfortunately, we're not. But the big news that's been taking Pokemon by storm for a while, I believe, was it earlier this year where they announced that he becomes Pokemon Master? Or was it last year? I can't remember.
Earlier this year.
Earlier this year, Ash Ketchum finally did it. Spoiler alert: Ash finally became a Pokemon Master. And for the love of God, I am 36. I've been waiting for this guy to be Pokemon Master for 26 years. Okay. So okay. I've been waiting for
in
this
a way,
kid.
I'm older than Ash, to be honest.
Yes. And this is the question I wanted to ask is, do you think the Pokemon series should have aged Ash? Because one thing about anime compared to cartoons, and this is what I love about anime, is that in anime, usually the characters age, and you see this in such animes such as Dragon Ball Z, Fist of the North Star, Naruto. I mean, Gundam Wing, Gundams, and other animes. Animes don't really keep the time frozen and just keep going and going. They usually age their characters. How Inuyasha aged their characters as well with a new series and stuff like that. I always felt that Pokemon should have been an anime where it kept going as long as it did, but the characters age and you just do like how they usually do. You breathe life to the new generation, which they're now doing. But now the question is, it looks like Ash is still going to be a freaking 10-year-old in this new. He's not the main lead anymore, which is crazy. But I think it's high time Pokemon aged up and we see a grown Ash Ketchum, because the whole series was based on him living this dream to become a Pokemon Master. And where the hell is this dude's pops?
Yeah,
we don't know.
Is his dad dead? Like, where's his dad? Does he? What does he even look like? Did they ever show what he looked like? I can't remember.
No, but here's the thing, and they shot themselves in the foot. You said I was telling Ashley this earlier. You said you never watched the Kalos region.
Yeah.
If you actually watch the X and Y series, like the Kalos season, it is apparent, like it is obvious, he is legitimately older in the Kalos region. Like his maturity level, the way he talks to people, the way he interacts with his Pokemon, the fact that he actually knows things, and he's not like, oops, I sent out a fire type against a water type. That was dumb. It's like he actually had strategy. Like he knew the differences between special, like, like special attacks and like, hidden, like abilities and things like that. So he was significantly older. And it was the one season where instead of him like just bumbling into a region and having to follow around, everybody in Kalos followed him. He built a reputation in that whole season of like, oh shit, that's Ash Ketchum. That's the guy I saw on TV. He just beat the gym leader, like in a 3-0 sweep and everything. And people knew him. They wanted to battle him because they were just like, yo, this is the new kid on campus. And then he went to the finals. He got to the final 2. He lost in the championship, which pissed everybody off. And then the writers decided to revert him back to being an idiot when he got to Alola. And I don't know, it's because maybe because they missed the campy, like happy-go-lucky. But here's where they shot themselves in the foot. If you go back, and you should know this because you're a Gen 1 guy. In the very first season of Pokemon, the very first Generation 1, when him, Brock, and Misty finally got to the Pokemon League, when they made it to the Pokemon League, Brock legitimately, he says this verbatim, when they get to the Pokemon League, Brock goes, wow, I can't believe it's been an entire year.
Yeah.
So you will never convince me he's still 10 years old.
Yeah.
I'm just chalking it up to Ash is Asian, let's keep it real. He's Satoshi in Japan?
Yeah.
So he's supposed to be Asian. So maybe that's why he never grew, because he's Asian.
Or it could also be the fact that from what I'm seeing, it's always been
maybe his dad
some conflicting. Oh no, it's always been some conflicting dialogue, and we see this a lot in anime where the translator changes some shit up, and this is what we'll get into when we talk about the Misty talk with Ash's love interest, that the translators will change shit up and is not in the original Japanese dialogue or script.
Yeah.
So America sees one thing and the rest of the world sees something else, and you're like, wait, that's not the version I got. And it just creates this whole, what's canon?
Because if you think about it, because that's the logic, because common sense also has to play a part in this. You will never convince me this man just did every single thing he's done for the last 30 years. You can't tell me he did all that. You can't tell me he did all that at the age of 10 when Brock already said it's been a year when he turned 10.
Yeah.
Right.
So by the time he got to the first Pokemon League, he was already about to be 11.
Right.
Unless there's a multiverse Pokemon for each freaking region that we never explained.
So that's what I mentioned to Jerrell, was that like him keep going back to being 10. It reminds me of like the Zelda timeline where it was like this split. So like there's a timeline where Link beats Ganon, and there's a timeline when he dies, and then it just follows afterward. I feel like with Pokemon, it follows the games, so it has to refresh. So, I don't know. I think it would have been interesting to see him grow up from the beginning all the way to him being a champion. But I think like audience-wise, I think we wouldn't be as interested. I think
I would have definitely kept watching, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why I stopped. Mainly because one, it kind of got, for me, very repetitive. Like
also,
it was just
older.
like, especially when it came to the Team Rocket thing, it's just like
he's losing all the time.
Yeah,
he's losing all the damn time too. And it was just like Team Rocket, they stop him. Ash goes to the tournament, loses, takes another L. I'm like, yo, when is this dude gonna win? And now at 36, I get the news that he's a master. Like what?
In the Alola region was when he won his first championship.
Yeah.
And to debunk the multiverse theory, every season they reference things that he did in past seasons. When he was in Alola, the story of Alola was his, like, Mr. Mime accidentally won them a free trip to the Alola region. They went to Alola for vacation, and when Ash found out there was a Pokemon school, he decided to stay in Alola and go to the school. He attended an entire year of school. And then Alola decided to have their first ever Pokemon League, because Alola never had a Pokemon League. They had their first ever Pokemon League. He entered it and became the very first Alolan region champion. And then he graduated from school. Like, that was a year. That was an entire year. And then when the new season started, the Galar region season started, the very first shot, he's in his bed sleep, and they take a shot of his dresser. On his dresser, it's a case of every badge he's collected in every other previous region. It's his Orange League trophy. It's his Alolan region championship trophy. And it's like it's his Mega Evolution stones, like his wristband for the Z moves. Like, his history was on his dresser. Like, you know, from day one up until now, like, he had pictures with him with like other people from the past. So it's, for me, it's just like, the boy at this point, he's like 17, 18. But for some reason, because if we're using logic, every region he enters
is a year.
Yeah.
So we're up to like 7 or 8. So like he's like 16, he's like 17, 18. But I guess from a television standpoint, because like Ashley said, if he was like taller, if he had a deeper voice, the kids probably wouldn't gravitate towards. So it's just like, okay, he's 17, but we're just not gonna say that out loud because we want him to still. But even in the Galar region, but again in Kalos and in the Galar region, those were the 2 seasons where there was a significant difference in his maturity level. And he won and that makes sense too, because if you're gonna have him become a Pokemon master and defeat the unbeatable champion, they had to mature him at some point. Like, he can't walk around being an idiot, and then you can't justify why that guy just beat Leon. You know what I'm saying? So there had to have been some sort of growth in his character. And even in the current season on Netflix, it's obvious he's a more mature person.
But they keep him. But I'm not sure if y'all ever heard the Ash is actually dead fan theory, where he was actually killed during that Mewtwo movie, and that split like a freaking timeline. That's why we have this was a fan theory that Ash is actually dead, and the Pokemon tears or whatever brought him back, but doing that created multiple timelines where he in the regions are multiple timelines, but somehow interconnect with all the bad. I was just like, this is just convoluted. This is just
there's another theory
that Zelda here.
There's another theory that he got into a coma, and so all of the things that he was experiencing, like the journeys in different regions, was just him in a coma.
Yeah, in the dream state from the death of him actually being killed by Mewtwo from the first movie.
Oh wait, but no, he didn't die. He was turned to stone.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so he's Han Solo. He's trapped in carbonite,
and the power
but still able to dream in this coma.
The Care Bear stare brought him back to,
not the Care Bear stare with tears. The Care Bear stare with tears.
That's actually my favorite Pokemon movie. Was the first one, the Mewtwo Strikes Back, or the Mewtwo one. I always loved that one. I thought the production was even better from an animation standpoint. Obviously, because it was a movie. But it was way too sappy though. Like the theme, the music. Oh, just like
it was a '94 movie.
Yes, I know.
It was a '90s movie.
But speaking of Ash, the great debate, as we alluded to, love interests. I mean, we talked about this obviously off camera last week. For me, I'm always been team Misty. I've always, because I felt that. Granted, I didn't watch a lot of the rest of the seasons going forward after Misty left, and I know she pops in from time to time, and I know now just based on research that the English dub translations changed a couple of things dialogue wise to make it look like Misty was the true love when it's actually apparently Serena, and in Japanese dubs and Japanese scripts. So, but for me, the development through season 1 and just throughout the course, like I still remember that episode when he was facing the guy in the volcano, and the dude and Misty was like, the guy was choosing, like, asking Misty out, and Misty was just like, chose Ash, and at the end he was like, Ash, you're a lucky man, and Ash is so oblivious.
Oh,
to
you mean when he
this.
was in the Orange League?
Yeah,
Mhm.
and he was so oblivious to this. Yeah, because I think that's the one with Tracy. Yeah, I hate that character, by the way. He's the worst character. I'm sorry. He was the worst companion to me. I don't know who's Team Tracy here. Like, is anyone Team Tracy? Comment below. Like, I don't know who's Team Tracy. Huh?
That's him and his 50-year-old Scyther.
Yes. It was just like, you got rid of Brock for this dude? Like, really?
Well, they rectified that very quickly,
real quick, because they was like, this dude is trash. It was horrible. Like, but no, I've always been Team Misty. I thought Misty was a great character. And I thought, I'm one of those shippers who was just like, man, Pokemon got older, Ash needed to be married to Misty. And that's why I was really hoping that this new series coming, like, with the new characters, will been the offspring of Ash, but they just refusing to make this kid grow up.
You know what I thought would have been cool, because of how, like, the new character, how the girl looks.
Yeah,
it would have been cool to find out
that was his daughter.
Huh?
That was his daughter.
No. I thought it would have been cool if we would have found out, like, later on, that's actually Ash's younger sister, because his parents split up. His dad moved to Paldea and fathered another child. Because his dad's not in the picture, so we can't act like he's coming back. So it makes more sense that Professor Oak be trying to squeeze in the Ketchum residence. So it makes more sense that his parents got divorced and his dad just moved somewhere else and just started a new life. So we found out but if we find out that's actually his sister, I thought that would be cool.
That'd be messed up for Ash. Like, yo, my dad. Then we got to start questioning. It goes into a whole deep dive. Like, so what happened in this relationship? Because Ash's mom seems to be the sweetest woman in the world. Why did you leave her? What did she do?
Right.
Or what did he do so bad that y'all split up?
Just like his son, he was so obsessed with wanting to be a Pokemon champion. He traveled all the time. He never came home. And then she was just like, you have a son that needs you. And he's like, but I want to be the very best. And one thing led to another. And then, they got divorced.
He got divorced, but now his son's a champion.
That's better than saying, your dad went out on a journey and then he was out here having random sex with random women, and now you got a sister in the Paldea region.
Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Oh
yeah, we can't put that on 4 kids. So.
Yeah, but like, sorry, that'll be like the official Japanese version. But 4 kids, but no, we're gonna just say he went out for milk.
Papa was a rolling onyx.
Yeah, rolling onyx. A rolling golem.
Rolling golem.
The saying he went out for milk, that actually works in most areas.
Oh, just like my dad. Yes, honey, just like your dad.
Oh.
I think it would have been cool if that was his sister.
Because
at least then she has someone to aspire to, because she's like, wow, my older brother's the GOAT.
Mm-hmm.
You know what is also kind of frustrating? I've always found frustrating about the show is the fact, and don't get me wrong, I do like the company 4 kids and stuff. But the fact that the show's actually has a lot more adult humor, adult references, and it just gets cut over here. Like, you literally, if you watch the original Japanese versions of this stuff, like, I know there's a band episode where James grew breasts and things like that,
he cross dresses as a girl. Yeah,
he cross dresses and they cut that off. I was just like,
breasts.
It is just why did y'all cut that out? Let the vision show.
Well, see, hey, they would probably show that episode today.
Well, no, they'll probably cancel it. No, they'll probably still cancel it.
It'll be on and then off by the time.
There'll be somebody offended by it, just the way the world is. But it's just like. That's
Toro's episode.
Yeah, that's the issue I always had with anime too. Is like, you don't know what's sensitive, even in certain video games too. Like, and credit to these YouTubers who do these deep dives and be like, yo, this is the cut content, this is the censored content. Like, you're getting censored content. we watching it. We watching episode like, it was a cool episode. Then you find out like, yo, they cut this out, cut this out. Look at the original Japanese version, like, oh yeah. By the way, this is the actual dialogue. You're like, oh, I'm like, what the fuck?
Like they did with Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
Like, this is my friend. Or no, I think cousin. It was cousins. This is my cousin. And then I recently watched like they redubbed it, the original again with the newer voice actors, and they kept the original dialogue.
Yeah.
So it was a cute like transaction between them. But yeah, they cut that out.
Are you talking about the what is it, Saturn and Venus? But not Venus. The two tall, the two short hair. They also did something funny in Sailor Moon that a lot of people didn't catch. There was an episode at the end of the first season. There was an episode where the Fire Girl and Serena got into an argument, and the Fire Girl slaps her. They cut that out in the actual episode. It's like first you see them arguing, and then all of a sudden the girl is just yelling and Serena's holding her face, but you didn't actually see the slap. But where they messed up was, you know how they do like the last time, like today on Sailor Moon, this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
When they did the today on Sailor Moon stuff, they had the slap in that footage.
Whoopsies.
And I was like, that was careless.
Someone messed up on the editing.
Did all that work.
Like to this day, I always thought that was funny because like you took it out, but it's still there.
Yeah. But let us transition to our last section, which is Poke Gaming. And I mean, Pokemon over the years has had so many different variations of games. I mean, you have Pokemon Snap, which I still didn't get the Switch version yet.
It's so good. It's so fun.
I'll probably get that down the line. Then, of course, we had the one that I played the most during the 64 era was Pokemon Stadium, which is obviously on the Switch now as well. If you have like that, the Nintendo Online.
What's the matter, trainer?
Yeah.
Right? Looks like a bad Pokemon choice.
I mean, we played hours for that, man. Me and my friend Ivan, we played hours on Pokemon Stadium. And for me, it was just like going from the Game Boy and then playing that one. It was just like night and day. And it's just amazing. And then of course Pokemon's in Smash Brothers. So I mean, just the evolution of where they go with things. What are some of your favorite Pokemon games? I believe not. I'm a fan of the original. I still love the original. Red and Blue.
Oh, I played the heck out of Pearl.
Pearl, okay.
I played the heck
out
of
Did you get the remake?
I think that's Pearl. The original Pearl was probably my first Pokemon game where I actively I got the legendaries, and I think I almost completed the Pokédex. I think that's the first one that I really completed to its core. I love Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald. I liked Sun and Moon. I didn't really care much for Black and White and Black and White 2. I don't even know why.
I can't remember that one, to be honest with you.
They did that one.
Zekrom and Reshiram?
Yeah. I just remember the gray mouse one. I think this started with a C from Black and White 2. That's just coming to my mind, but we don't see that Pokemon ever again after that.
The gray mouse.
Yeah, it was like a gray mouse in X and Y.
What, was a starter?
No, it was
X and Y?
Oh no, not X and Y, Black and White. It was, oh gosh. I see it in my mind's eye.
You said it's a mouse?
I see it. Yes, it was.
It's a blue. Is a Minchino?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, Minchino?
Yes.
Or is it the
No, it's Minchino.
Minchino was it a mouse?
Minchino, I think, is a mouse. I think
Minchino is a furry gray chinchilla-like Pokemon with
yeah,
of fur.
So like chinchilla, but they're kind of like they're in the rodent family. They're still, but I think it's like the Pikachu clone for that time period. I haven't really seen it a lot, to be honest. So that's why I went a blank with that. But yeah, I loved oh, and then when it also came out too was where it was legendary deer.
Xerneas?
Xerneas, yeah.
Yeah, the blue one.
Yes, that one was super good. It came before Sun and Moon.
Yeah, that was the XY series.
Yes,
Yeah.
X and Y. Yes. Okay. So yeah. So I guess
I have a shiny Xerneas.
I played the heck out of my Ruby and Emerald games.
I think a lot of people did.
Pearl X, because I got X, played a lot of that. The remake of Sapphire was pretty good.
What was the one before Sword and Shield? I can't remember.
Sun and Moon?
Kalos. That was Sun and Moon.
Sun and Moon.
Sun and Moon, okay.
Sword and Shield wasn't too bad.
Sword and Shield is underrated to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's a very underrated one.
The DLC is underrated.
Yeah.
When you get the DLC and you go to that island and get you a cub, what is it? Pub food.
Yeah.
Get you a cub food. That's when the game actually picks up because they open up more battles for you to.
To do.
And then I like Scarlet.
Yeah, minus the people minus the controversy of the game. But I really enjoy my time with Scarlet right now. So I mean I'm back at it. And now I'm actually getting more competitive with it. Like this is like the first time I used to play for fun, but now I'm actually trying to train and beat people online. So that's what happens when you play with Dez. You become very competitive. So it's like Dez is my rival since.
Yeah, you and I still have a rematch.
Yeah, I know. Dez is like my rival since elementary school. So junior high school. So it's it's literally Rock in Austin for all these years. So but for me it's always been I always love Red and Blue. I'm hoping they actually add it to the Game Boy section of the Switch Online. You know, one thing that people don't really talk about, I used to collect these before everybody got it's like I used to just collect them for fun, the Pokemon cards. The way the Pokemon trading card game has just evolved over the years. I'm like,
did you see the tournament in Japan?
Yeah, I was like, I just used to collect these and put them in these little sleeves and sell them for $1 to my friends who wanted these random cards.
Now they're worth some of them are worth upwards to millions of dollars now.
Yeah, and that's just the kicker. You never know. Just knowing that people are selling these cards that I used to sell for $1 in the schools in the lunchtime is worth thousands of dollars now. It's just I should have just kept the shit.
Yeah,
I don't know where my cards went. I think they're gone. Yeah, they're gone forever.
The Yu-Gi-Oh cards, if I knew.
Yeah, exactly, right.
That shit was gonna blow up. For me, remember Pokemon XD?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, GameCube, right?
Yeah,
I love those games.
That was my favorite non-Game Boy game.
Yeah.
Because the point of that whole thing was to catch a dark Lugia.
Yeah.
Lugia is that's my legendary goat. And then you fought this weirdo named Mirror B who was funny. And then he has a whole team full of Ludicolo. That I still have Pokemon in my Switch to this day that I caught in XD. That's ridiculous. I like Pokemon Coliseum when it came because the thing is I like the console Pokemon games because it made all the Game Boy hard work worth something. It was just hey, let me grind in this Game Boy game, let me get them to level 100, catch the ones that I want, and then when the console game comes out I can actually use them to do stuff.
Yeah.
It's not just doing this, just because I got nothing else better to do. So but XD was always fun for me. I started with Silver actually.
Oh wow,
Soul Silver.
Yeah, sorry with silver because at the time I had
Was that silver and gold, right?
Yeah, silver, gold, and crystal.
Yeah.
I lost my job at the NBA store back then. I didn't have anything to do, and then Evan had Pokemon Stadium, and we were he was asking me, he was like, "Oh, why don't you get on this Pokemon?" So I played it for the first time, and he beat me, and I was just like, "Well, all these Pokemon," because I was using the rentals. I was like, "Well, all these Pokemon suck." And then he gave me the silver version because he had bought crystal, so he didn't need it. He gave me the silver version. He was like, "Well, here, play this, catch your own, and then you can do it. Then you can do whatever you want with it." And then because I had nothing else better to do because I was jobless, that's actually how I got into Pokemon. And then obviously Ruby Sapphire. Then when I found out you could take the stuff from the previous
transfer
game I was like, well, shit.
I just gotta say this. I wish all type of sports games, especially WWE 2K, the Lord, would have that concept where you can just transfer something from a previous game and just it bottles the mind for me that 2K and other sports games can't take something like that. Because if Pokemon's been doing that for years, what's the excuse for these other developers to be like, okay, you played last year's, okay, we'll just put it on the server or make this thing unlockable and you can just transfer over.
Money.
If you knew
for wrestling, it's licensing issues. Because
Yeah.
if the wrestler no longer works for the company, you don't want that person in the game.
Oh, not just that. I mean, if it's creator wrestler, fine. I mean, like the creator. I mean, even with NBA 2K, you're my player. I don't. That's the reason I stopped playing the my player modes is because I don't want to keep creating a new rookie every year after I spend hours building this guy's career.
Yeah, like sports games should have all the whole thing about the digital version. That's what sports games should have been. Sports games should have been a digital version that you just pay to update. Like
that should be live service.
Because like buying a CD for that never made sense.
Yeah. Like Madden should be updated every year. Like it shouldn't be.
Yeah, you just pay $20 for the upgrade or something like that.
Yeah, it shouldn't be $60. You're paying $20 for the new roster. That's it.
Like I said, but to buy a brand new game and literally do all that, like even with the wrestling, like I mean, you and I know it is very annoying to create your wrestler every single year
and then take away some of their face templates, and then you got to try to make it work. And it's just like, holy God, because we created 70 altogether. You, me, Des, it's 70 people, 70 freaking wrestlers that we had to recreate because they're going to decide, like, yo, we're dropping 2K23 on March. You're like, what? I mean, but but back to the Pokemon. I love the fact, and Nintendo Game Freak does not get enough praise for that. Is that you're able to like they did a real cross gen between Game Boy and your Nintendo, or your Game Boy Advance and your GameCube, and your Game Boy Advance and your Wii, and et cetera, et cetera. And then the building of Pokemon Home was perfect.
Yeah, it's not 100% though.
No.
And because at one point they were just like, well, you can trade your Pokemon from one game to the next game, but whatever held items you have to stay behind.
Yeah.
Right. That's stupid. And then now with Scarlet and Violet, I can trade all my Pokemon from Pokemon Home to Scarlet and Violet. But once I put them in Scarlet and Violet, they're just like, hey, remember that hydro pump that you paid for, that you had to grind to get? That move is now banned. They actually, certain moves that you're not allowed to have, they take those moves from you and literally make you pick new moves. And I'm like, you know how many red shards I had to dig up like in order to purchase this one specific move, and now I can't use it anymore. Like I was like, well, at least I can keep a Pokemon.
I mean, but at least your level stayed the same. It's not like you're grinding your all over to
the same.
Yeah.
I'm like, but I grinded for that move.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
There are move tutors. There are certain people where you have to grind to find specific items to trade to these people for them to teach you a specific move. And some of those moves now have been taken away. But the system is 95% accurate.
Which is, like I said, that's something a lot of games don't do. And just to be able to just cross over and have that least feature, because they can be like, Nah, you gotta capture all these again. You gotta train them all. Like, I would not do it.
Oh, that's why I will never play Pokemon Go.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now see, whatever you do in Pokemon Go, they'll let you upload Pokemon Go into Pokemon Home.
But you can't transfer to the games, right?
I don't know, because I don't have Pokemon. You can put Pokemon Go Pokemon in your Pokemon Home. So they will allow you to have all your stuff together in one place. But my whole thing is Pokemon Go and the games aren't compatible. I'm not starting over.
Right.
Like you can kiss my entire behind. Like I'm not starting over. Like when I think about like the hard work, blood, sweat, and blisters I done put in, like for you to be like, hey, there's a new game now, but nothing you did previous. Nah, we're not doing that.
Yeah, we're not doing that. We can't have that 2K pain for Pokemon.
No, that's too much. That's too much. Like, you know,
that's a lot of that's a lot of grinding.
Yeah.
I think we could all attest that we put way over 100 hours gameplay wise in these Pokemon games. Like
that first year alone.
Yes, like there's so much to do. And for our final segment, what would you like to see in future Pokemon games or the show to close it out? Well, me, I'll go first. I would like to see for the show, as we just said, I want to see Ash grow up. I want to see Rock. I kind of want to see a storybook closed chapter to Gen 1. Those characters, the Ash saga, and just start a new saga, but make it like Ash being the mentor or Ash being that guy that another kid looks up to him like, I want to be that. I want to be a master like Ash, and try to, and he could pop in from time to time and just be kind of this mentor. But I kind of want to see that storybook ending of okay, this is the ending. Now we're gonna start a whole new chapter, like they did with Naruto, like they do with DBZ. Obviously, like Gohan was supposed to take over, but Goku was too popular, so that's a whole different story. But grow them up and bring in that new generation, but don't sacrifice the old guys. Don't like kill them off. Don't kill them off. But just let them grow up. And game wise, I definitely would to see, kind of like a Pokemon. I want the next game to be kind of like a Pokemon Ultimate, where they bring back a lot of the features from previous games and just make this like, how Smash Brothers, this was kind of like the ultimate Super Smash Brothers, and it's kind of like, where do you go from here? I kind of want to see like a Pokemon Ultimate where like it's a huge open world, like you can go to the previous regions of most of the games, make a huge map, and put the generation Pokemons in there and create a good story. Obviously, it's going to be a huge gig on your Switch or Switch 2, obviously, but make
Breath of the Wild
huge
Pokemon style. Breath of the Wild Pokemon style.
Yeah, you could do combination of XD, the story, like make a narrative story like how good XD was. You can have that open free roam like Arceus and and Scarlet and Violet, and just make it kind of like the ultimate Pokemon game.
It's funny. I almost teared up when you said that, because I thought the exact same thing. Yeah. Like for mine, it was like when you first start the game, like you said, all the regions are represented, like all the different games of future past. But when you start the game and you have your character, you get to pick which region your character starts in. Then you travel to the. But the funny thing is, I was actually calling the game Pokemon Ultimate, like myself. So to hear you say that actually made me laugh.
Yeah, because it's the only way to describe it. Because it'd be like, not saying there'll be a book into the series, but this will be something that they will constantly update. Since a lot of games are transitioning kind of to that live service, or at least like, hey, we're gonna update this from time to time in DLC. This will be kind of like a swan song, and before they do something like experimenting. Like one thing they always do, they do different spin-off games. Obviously, we talk about Pokemon Snap and they got the trading card games and things like that. But make the final kind of like hurrah type of game, the ultimate game, where people are gonna be like, where are you gonna go from here after this? And it forces new creators and new developers to start from scratch and create something a little bit new, something more innovative. I mean, because we've seen this with like Breath of the Wild and things like that, how it's continuing to grow. As much as I love Scarlet and Violet, it's time for the game to kind of expand a little bit more, kind of get more into the gameplay, make it more, a little bit more meat on the bones instead of the same premise.
To be honest with you, that could low key be Pokemon Home.
Yeah.
Where, because you do have access to all the regions and you can go to all the gyms and do all the stuff, if you choose let's say like you decide that you want your character to start in the Johto region, you should have a setup where when you go back to your house, you have access to all your Pokemon, because that would be your home storage system.
Yeah.
Like Pokemon Home should actually be Pokemon Ultimate.
Yeah.
That you could just grab a bunch of Pokemon in your home and just run out into the world and just do random shit.
Yeah. And you can include characters from the anime. Yeah. Like I said, it would be the ultimate game. You can include characters from the anime, you get the voice actors back. And so, I mean,
and as you said, like it's basically a huge DLC too. And like I would add to it, like I would love to see different regions. So instead of having paid DLC, it's an update. So you'll start out with like maybe the first 4 regions. And then as like time goes on, they keep adding a region. And then all of a sudden, there's a new region now with all of these new Pokemon. Kind of like how they did with Mario Kart.
Yeah.
There's not going to be another Mario Kart. So they decided you're just going to pay once which is actually pretty great. Like $25 for like, I think 12 like courses.
But it was 24.
24. It's still 24? A lot of phases still. Like this is still not done.
Basically like $1 a course. But like if you can do it like that, and maybe it's not paid DLC, or maybe some of it, like maybe the new regions would be paid DLC, but like it'll just keep growing and growing. Now by that time, will we have a new console? Probably, maybe.
Probably.
To help with that storage. But yeah, and also too, I would just love it if like Game Freak would bring people who have different ideas for Pokemon into their team as well. And I know because it's based in Japan, it's a lot of most of the Pokemon are from like Japan lore and like region and like what they experience. And I know that with these games, like they try to be more culturally significant. So like more of like culture of Mexico, of England / Scotland, that type of thing. So I want them to bring like more people who can who have new ideas for Pokemon, like what they look like and everything and their attributes and things, and then just also new regions as well. And then also update Pokemon Stadium and Coliseum.
Like have that as a feature. And also, for the love of God, I want to have broadcasting during my matches on the in the championship leagues. Like at least have some sound bites or something. I just don't want to hear music. I want to have some type of commentary. Like, he did this, like, they used to do a stadium and stuff. Like
let the Pokemon talk. Like, how about that?
Have them let them do their sounds, their growls as they're like. That would be great too. There's so much, and a little bit of a graphical update would be nice, by the way, too. So, but
one thing I would like to see in the anime, and I'm never gonna get over this until it happens. I'm never gonna get over this, and especially now that he's the GOAT, that he's the greatest of all time. I need that Richie rematch.
Yeah.
Like to this day, that bothers me more than him losing in the championship in the Kalos region.
Yeah.
Because the Kalos loss was bull. Like I was telling Ashley, the Kalos loss was so bad. And when I say bad, meaning it was such an epic battle, the fact that he lost by like an inch of an eyelash, people almost quit the anime over that, because the way it was like the Kalos whole season was Cody Rhodes' road to WrestleMania. But you know what I'm saying? To go through all that and to like people almost quit the anime over that. As emotional as that was, the Richie thing still bothers me. And I always hated Richie as a character. I think he's an idiot. Like his jolly, sweeter, holier than that. Like Richie's the type of kid that you just want to punch him in the face. And it bothers me that someone like that got such a cheap win, and Richie struts around acting like he legitimately got a W. And he didn't even have the
hate Richie, bro.
And he didn't even have the guts to enter the World Coronation Tournament because he didn't want to get smoked. So they did get a nice shot when Ash actually fought Leon in the championship round. Yeah. They did get a shot at Richie watching in the Pokemon Center. There was like Richie, it was Paul, it was Brock, Misty, Serena, and May were together at a Pokemon contest watching Ash. And like every character that's ever existed was watching him. They had a shot of that character watching him in that final match. Maybe so everybody got tired. Yeah.
Maybe Richie retired. He felt like that was an undeserved win. So he's just
he's done. I'm going into hiding. Ash
he was still there. No, what happened was he saw what happened to Gary because after Ash smoked Gary never entered another league again. Yeah, like Gary put the white coat on and he was just like I ain't got it no more because
I'm following my grandfather's path now.
You know? Yeah, exactly. Like after Ash beat Paul, Paul's a gym leader now. Because right before Ash goes to the top 8 tournament, he bumps into Paul, and then Paul challenged him to a Pokemon battle.
And Ash be leaving him depressed.
Huh?
Ash be leaving these people depressed.
Yeah, well,
changing careers.
That's what happens when you lose to the GOAT.
He's the dream killer.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny? The only character that Ash smoked and actually turned out to be the better for it was Iris, because Ash beat Iris numerous times in the Black and White series, but Iris became a champion before he did. Because she won the Unova League before he won the Alola region. I was like, at least the black girl's doing well.
Gotta represent. minus that black girl and Scarlet and Violet, that gym trainer, the rapper. I was just like, really? When I saw that scene, I remember I text both of you. I was like, this is that most. I was like, I don't know if I should be pissed, offended, or annoyed, or all three.
Reminded me of Mary J. Blige for some reason. I think it's the blonde hair.
It was terrible. I have not even did the second battle.
I would have accepted it if she wasn't old.
Yes.
Yeah, they made her older. Yeah.
The fact that she's like old, and it's like, here's what makes it bad. She's a rapper.
Yes.
She's like 60, and she's surrounded by ghosts.
Oh no.
her like, remember, it was a double battle ghost gym.
Yeah.
Then those stupid snow dogs came out of the floor and started dancing. So I'm like, why is it's like, if she wasn't old, it wouldn't have been. It's only cringe because she's like 70.
Yeah. You know what it is too? It wasn't the fact that she's black and she's rapping, she's old. I think it was more offended that the raps was trash than anything.
Yeah, the rap wasn't.
That was like the most really offensive shit to me. It's just like, y'all couldn't get a ghostwriter. The Chat GPT right this
ghostwriter, get it? Because she has ghosts.
She has ghosts.
Like y'all the Pokemon company. Y'all couldn't get like a real legit rapper to drop some Pokeballs for y'all real quick, like.
And there are out there. Have you seen the Pokemon ciphers? They are great.
Oh no,
you couldn't get any of those people.
They're great.
I mean, we couldn't have at least changed the battle music. I mean, I like the battle music, but
that's another thing that needs to be changed. The music gotta be stepped up, man.
Out of all the rivals in Sword and Shield, when you battle Hop, he actually had the best battle song.
Yeah,
I
think the battle music has to change. Battle music, I would like to get a little bit more epic shit, like a choir, like it's some real.
The Sinnoh gym leader music was the best. That's actually the best Pokemon music. The Pearl, the Diamond, when you go, the music that plays when you battle a gym leader, that's actually my favorite Pokemon song in any of the game.
Oh wow.
To answer your earlier question about what type do I use?
Yes.
It's I'm trying to figure out how can I put this, how can I politically put this appropriately. I don't pick anyone that's ugly.
Well, no, I'm the same way.
But it's like I don't gravitate towards a specific type. Like when it comes to the starters, like I said, I either choose fire or water because, like, you know, I'm partial to fire or water. But when it comes to just like catching Pokemon, when I see them, I'm like, okay,
aesthetically pleasing. That's how.
Yeah, you know, like when I look at it, I was like, oh God, no, I don't want to walk around with you.
That's exactly like, how I choose my Pokemon.
So, but
I look at their evolved forms.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter what their type is. Like, it doesn't matter what the type is. It doesn't as long as they look cool. You know, like I'll catch it. So if you see a Pokemon, if you ever wondered, gee, how come he never caught? Because I thought it was ugly.
Yeah, it's like when you're dating a girl and you want to meet her mom early just to see what the future holds.
Oh no.
So...
No, I don't know about that, Justin.
He said to see what the future holds.
Like, how old is your mom? Oh, let me see a picture of her. Oh God. Oh, you better take care of yourself. I mean, it can work for mental people. Anyway, but that is our show. I'm gonna end it with that.
Dang.
I'm gonna end it with that
on a high note.
Yes, I ended that on a high note. This for the record, I do not choose my dates like that. Okay, just throwing it out there.
Wait, what?
I do not do that. But I do choose my Pokemon like that. This is like, if they're ugly, I'm like Jerrell. I'm like, especially now that we can walk around with them.
Yeah,
walking around with you, you're gonna stay in that ball. I'm gonna treat you like how Des treats his Pokemon. You're gonna stay in that ball.
Like the Kalos, the grass type, Chespin.
Yeah.
Its final evolution is trash. Like, that thing is horrible. That chestnut, ugly, like shell looking, like, no. Hey, no. Like, who did that? Like, no.
Evolutions, you're like, they start off cute, and then you see the evolutions like, why did you draw it? Why did you design this?
Yeah, and
where did you go? What dark place did you go to design this?
Oh, and another thing I'd like to see them change in the games going forward. We need to be realistic with the genders. I should not have a male Gardevoir, and I should not have a female Mr. Rhyme. Do y'all know who Mr. Rhyme is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like because it has a freaking mustache.
Yes.
Why are you allowing me to breed a female Mr. Rhyme?
Because gender norms do not exist.
Well, with the Gardevoir thing, because you used to be able to get male Curlias and male Gardevoirs, and then they're just like, you know what, let's just make a boy version. That's how we got Gallade. But I'm like, but why I got a female Mr. Rhyme with beard?
I guess I'm just gonna go for breeding purposes.
No, but still, like you're like there should never be a male Gardevoir.
Okay. All right, guys, we're running too long with this. If y'all want us to do a part 2, we'll definitely do a part 2 to continue this discussion. This was a hell of a fun. This is otakusgeeks.com. Thank you for watching us on the hour. This has been episode 11. Jerrell, please plug in your YouTube channel.
Oh, sure. It is Red Eyes Entertainment. That's Red Eyes with a Z on YouTube, where we are going over my adventures with Superman, Harley Quinn, the season, not the series, oh God. The season finale of Warrior is coming up next week, and we are still live streaming that Street Fighter 6.
All right. And of course, you know us here at otakusgeeks.com. Essential Anime is coming back. I'm almost done filming a lot of the episodes for that. So it's been good to be. So stay tuned for Essential Anime on Pat Labor. Macross, Do You Remember Love? I mean, I'm going back to my 80s roots. I know a particular friend of mine says I need to just keep up with the new days, but I'm doing old school stuff, people. Of course, UWL, once again, thank you for watching UWL. We got a huge storyline coming up. I can't wait for you guys to see what's going to happen there. Uprisings on Fridays now, so obviously the hour is being moved to a different time. It's going to probably think I'm going to make it permanently on Sundays or Thursdays. Uprising will be on Fridays, and then of course you got the A show, as Des calls it on Saturdays. So that is it. Stay tuned for more reviews, interviews, and all things geek here at otakusgeeks.com. Make sure you check out Red Eyes Media. Ashley, great to have you. Welcome home again. We'll see you soon. And later days, peeps, we're out.
Thank you for joining us for Otakus and Geeks, the Hour. Support the podcast by hitting the like and subscribe buttons. For more on Justin, you can check out imaginativevisions.com. For more on Nadia, you can check out gothamgeekgirl.com. For more on Sean, check out his podcast, It's Chronicles, on Anchor FM. For more on Jerrell, check out his YouTube channel, Red Eyes Entertainment. Later days.